Here's something that'll blow your mind. Research shows that 62% of our waking hours are spent at home. Yet society still treats homebodies like they're avoiding life instead of strategically managing their brain chemistry.
That's such a fascinating perspective, especially when you consider how staying home actually connects to our neurological wiring.
Well, let me tell you about this incredible thing called sensory processing sensitivity. For some people, being in public isn't just uncomfortable, their brains literally process information at a higher rate. It's like having 47 browser tabs open while trying to focus on a complex task.
Hmm, you know, that reminds me of what neuroscientists discovered about sensory overload. In crowded spaces, sensitive brains can process up to 50% more environmental data than average.
And here's where it gets really interesting. For people who experienced childhood chaos or trauma, their home becomes this sophisticated command center. Studies show that having control over your environment can reduce cortisol levels by up to 30%.
It's actually about neural regulation.
Exactly. And let's talk about what scientists call impression management fatigue. It's this fascinating phenomenon where social interactions literally deplete the same cognitive resources we use for decision making. Research shows that after just 2 hours of heavy social interaction, our decision making ability can drop by up to 40%.
Well, that certainly explains why some people feel completely drained after social events, even when nothing particularly challenging happened.
You know what's wild? Scientists have actually mapped different social energy expenditure rates. Like, traditional extroverts show increased dopamine activity in social situations, while introverts experience heightened cortisol levels. Their stress hormone literally spikes in crowded spaces.
The way you're describing this makes me think about how we often misunderstand the whole introvert-extrovert spectrum. Could you break down those different types?
So, here's the fascinating breakdown. About 15% of people are selective extroverts. They can be incredibly social, but are extremely choosy about where they spend that energy. Then you've got ambiverts, roughly 40% of the population who do well in short bursts but need regular recharging periods. And traditional introverts, about 25 to 40% of people who genuinely recharge through solitude.
That really helps explain why some people can be the life of the party one night and then need several days of complete solitude to recover.
And let's dive into this concept of ambient judgment, because the research here is mind-blowing. Studies show that people who've experienced social criticism maintain elevated cortisol levels up to 40% higher in public spaces compared to their at-home baseline.
The psychological impact of that constant vigilance must be enormous. How does this affect creativity and productivity?
Well, research from Creativity Labs shows that people in flow state are 500% more productive. But here's the kicker. It takes an average of 23 minutes to regain flow state after each interruption. That's why creative professionals often prefer working from home. They can maintain that optimal brain state without constant disruption.
That makes me think about how younger generations are redefining social connection entirely.
Oh, the data on this is fascinating. Studies show that Gen Z maintains an average of 8 close friendships through digital means, compared to 3 in-person close friendships for previous generations. They're not less social. They're actually more connected, just in a way that respects their energy boundaries.
The way you're explaining this really challenges our traditional understanding of social interaction.
And here's what's really revolutionary. Research shows that people who practice what psychologists call autonomy-driven socializing report 45% higher satisfaction with their social lives. They might skip casual events, but invest deeply in meaningful connections.
That reminds me of that universal feeling of relief when plans get cancelled. There's actually science behind that, right?
The neurochemistry is fascinating. When plans get canceled, our brains release dopamine. the same reward chemical released during positive experiences. It's not about avoiding people. It's our brain celebrating unexpected free time, which studies show can reduce stress levels by up to 35%.
Well, that certainly puts a new spin on the whole antisocial stereotype.
Absolutely. And here's the ultimate takeaway. When someone chooses to stay home, they're often practicing sophisticated self awareness. Research shows that people who honor their natural social preferences report 60% better mental health outcomes and 40% higher productivity levels. It's not avoidance, it's optimization.